daily word today, I reflected on a couple of things. First of all, I thought it was very interesting that the first sentence is, I serve those closest to me as well as the larger community with my thoughts, words, and actions. We don't often think about that our thoughts can be of service. Our words are of service as well. We usually think of it, our actions are of service. And I learned a long time ago that my service only really serves me or others when I do it from joy. So I used to be a school librarian, and as with, I'm sure, anyone who's worked in a situation where you have a community lunchroom, I'd come in day after day, and there'd be the napkin thing would be empty, so I'd fill it up. And if there was the microwave was dirty, I'd clean it out, and there might be a few dishes in the sink in it. And so I had this ongoing comment about, why doesn't anybody else see that the napkins are empty, blah, 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 and this ongoing commentary, which was really a form of complaint. And one day I said to myself, well, if you can't do it with joy, just don't do it at all. And that was like a total shift for me. I started doing it without any expectation of anyone else doing it. I started doing it without wanting anyone to notice, just out of the joy of giving. And it changed something dramatically for me. Not only in that situation, but even in other situations like this church. I know that a lot of people see me as like volunteering in a lot of different capacities. I have a motto, which is, what is mine to do with joy. If I can't do it with joy, it's not mine to do. And so I encourage you to, you can find your joy by volunteering. No. But it's true that we count on everybody, and everybody counts in this church community. And I and all those that serve get immense joy from that service. So, our children, they're already downstairs. That they're doing pumpkins today, so this is a kind of an exciting day. When you go down, you'll see a little bit of a mess and a lot of joy from those children carving their pumpkins. But if there are any parents up here today, we encourage you to, as soon as the service is over, to meet up with your child and be responsible for them and their whereabouts. Thank you. So now is time that we greet one another before our statement of being. We have what we call a sacred greeting, and because we have noticed sometimes it takes a long time for people to move around the room, we now stand where we are and greet those around us with a namaste or a handshake. So, and you can take your time for lengthy greetings or hugs after service downstairs. Join us, please. So, as you're able, please stand, and please greet those around you. Good morning. Morning, Leland. Don't forget to namaste the balcony. All right. So now we have our statement of being, so you can stay standing. And join me as we say this, and let the words be of service to you and your spirit this morning as you open and say these words. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with his perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. What once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Amaze that taught me what to sing, and grace my fears release. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already passed. But this grace that brought me safe thus far to freedom that will last.
Thank you, Mark. So I have some announcements. Okay. So this coming Saturday is our Unity. And if you haven't been to our Unity, it's a delightful experience. It's from 2 to 4 on this Saturday afternoon. It is a $12 fee, and there's a sign-up downstairs in the bookstore. And you will be delighted as you come in and pick out your own teacup and saucer and get served 3 courses of amazing goodies. And then there is a short clip of entertainment in the midst of that 2 hours, and a lot of just good sharing, conversation, and company. So all are welcome to sign up downstairs. We still have about 8 slots left, so come on down and sign up if that is your cup of tea. So today, after service in the green room, we have a brainstorming session, and it is about events, not just fundraisers, but fundraisers. We want to brainstorm, what do we want as this community, not only to raise funds, as I said, but how do we want to bring the community together a little bit more? What kind of events do we want to plan, especially as these longer, darker days come? We might need a little upliftment with a meal or some kind of entertainment or games or whatever it is. So Nancy, are you heading that up? Yes. And Nancy's heading that up, and we'll meet in the green room to have a list created. So, and then on October 27th, in 2 weeks from today, John Mundy will be our speaker here. And John Mundy is a steeped in the wool Course in Miracles person. He has written many books on the Course of Miracles. He's studied the Course in Miracles for many years. He's considered one of the country's foremost authorities on the Course of Miracles. And he's coming here, and he will do the Sunday morning service, and then he's offering a workshop from 1:15 to 4 downstairs. So there is a fee. There are flyers at the back, and you may sign up for that downstairs and prepay in the bookstore if that is also something that you're interested in. So he will be talking in the morning. I believe the talk is on Watch Your Thoughts, and the afternoon workshop will be based on his new book, A Course in Mysticism and Miracles. And so he calls himself the Missouri Mystic because he's from Missouri originally. So please come for the morning service and stay perhaps for the afternoon workshop. We're going to have a moving forward evening with Reverend Pat Bessie, who is amazing, dynamic, and one of our staunch supporters of this particular Unity Church. Her husband, Reverend Leroy, was our transitional minister at one point. And Friday, November 15th at 6:30 in the fellowship hall, this is part of what we would call our healing process as we move forward, having released Reverend Edith to her new position in California, and as we open ourselves to receive our new minister that we would have, and it's called Releasing and Reclaiming Our Vision Moving Forward. So we are moving forward as we speak, and we can come together and talk about that and see how we can heal and move on. Town hall meeting is next Sunday after service, and there will be a presentation from Ken Sauser on investments after the meeting, after we have our meeting. So there will be refreshments next week. So please remember to recycle your bulletin by leaving the cover at the back so that we can be conscientious about our paper. So, okay, that's the announcements for
I just have a
today.
quick reminder to the search committee that we have a meeting on Tuesday at 6 o'clock up here. Please take the office back staircase to get up here for the meeting. We'll be meeting up here because there's a
Great.
class downstairs.
Very good. Mark is head of that search committee, so thank you. So I'd like to welcome today's guests. We have a packet with a gift of a candle representing the light of spirit that shines within you. And attached to your welcome packet is a yellow slip. And if you fill that out and take it downstairs to the bookstore, we have a gift for you today. If you are a first-time visitor, would you now please just raise your hand so that we can bring you a gift? Okay. I met Faith and John just a little while ago, and I see Bob brought his daughter with him. So, welcome. And please do join us downstairs for fellowship after the service. Take a pumpkin? Are they for take? Check out the pumpkins, that's right. That's right. We're excited about our pumpkin faces, so. And speaking of, do we have an announcement about the Day of the Dead yet? If not, I'll make one. Okay. Actually, Patty is back from the dead. She has had a bout of some flu or something, and I didn't see it on the announcements, but when you walked in the door, I realized. Oh, thank you. November 2nd. Okay, so it's a fun evening remembering our loved ones who have passed on. So you can bring in a picture or some symbol of your loved ones or write their name on a piece of paper, make a sugar skull to honor their spirit, and enjoy some Mexican food and dancing. So, and that's downstairs. You may sign up as well.
Yes, please do, because I need a count before I buy sugar and all the stuff to make the sugar skulls.
Great, thanks, Patty. Glad you're feeling better. Okay. So unity is based on 5 principles. And so right now on the screen you see these 5 principles, and they are the tenets of unity. Are there 2 of you who would like to share some way that you've seen one of these principles demonstrated in your life recently? And to just take a minute or 2 to share. Is there someone who has a, yes, Maria.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I shared this earlier, but I have to share this because, as most of you know, I live for martial arts. And my granddaughters have been training since they were 2.5 years old, and now they're just about next month to earn their first-degree black belt, which is a very, very big feat. But they have been working for at least, I'm going to say, 3 months, hours and hours and hours practicing these moves because there's a big show coming for their graduation, and they have to have every move down perfect. Well, my granddaughter sent my daughter an email last night. She's sleeping over at a friend's house, and it read, "Mom, these are the best 3 months of my life." Now, remember, she's 10. "These are the best 3 months of my life that I've been in cycle. I love the new people I've met, the new friends that I've made, and now they've become my family. And all I could say is, I don't know which principle it is, but she got it. It's not about the black belt, it's about the journey. And at 10 years old, she got it.
Well, I think it would be principle 1, which is God is good and everywhere present. And she got to see that. Yes, indeed. Is there someone else that has an... Yes, Lorraine.
Well, I had the privilege of, I describe it as a privilege, of spending time with my niece, who's dealing with PTSD from being, from her experiences in Afghanistan. And so she lives out of state, and she had been dealing with, some severe forms of depression. So I finally got her here, and I was able to spend all day Friday and Saturday with her, going on long walks and talking. So I was really grateful for that experience, for being able to share some really deep heart feelings with her.
So the love of God that you are shares with the love of God that your niece is, and all is well. Nancy, did you have something that you wanted?
I really was raising my hand because I didn't think there was a second person. All right. Friday, Ed and I went to Canandaigua to see his sister, and we were all going to go grape picking, which has special meaning to me personally. But we ended up taking her to her doctor for a very long appointment, and then to the hospital for a couple different blood tests and that sort of thing. And I was grateful that we were there for her. And then we came home, and I still really wanted to go pick grapes. So yesterday, even though it was supposed to rain all day, we went to Dundee, New York, and to a place, Faulkner's Winery, that had been very kind to me online, saying when I could come pick grapes. And we did. We finally found a spot to pick the Concord grapes, and I was just in such joy. I was just beaming with joy because it brought back such fond memories, and I had Ed with me to do that. And on the way home, as Ed shared with somebody this morning, as we were coming home, the sun was shining on the top of the trees that were changing color, and that beautiful, incredible. I said, Ed, I've never seen it looking like this. The sun was setting in a kind of a rose color, and the trees were all kind of tinted this pinkish color. Absolutely phenomenal. And all I could think of was, oh, I'm so grateful. And isn't that number one for sure?
Thank you, Nancy. Today is a glorious day, weather-wise. Take advantage of this beautiful day, the sunshine, and this season of changing color, and take a little drive, maybe a little bit of a detour on your way home today, and really look up, see the colors, see the sky, and fill yourself with gratitude. And you will be richly blessed. So before we do our blessing of our prayer requests, I do want to, because we go right from that into our meditation. So today's speaker is also today's musician. Marc Wildman, who was our former music director, is filling in today as music person, and he's also doing the talk. And so we really honor and accept Marc for who he is and his many talents that he continuously gives. And of course, I'm very near and dear to Marc because we're both librarians, and so that's our real connection here. So I know he's a really good librarian as well. But Mark, thank you for willing to step up and be of service. And I know it is your joy to give. So we accept that and honor you for that. So now we will bless our prayer requests. So Unity is founded on prayer, and we have prayer chaplains that will pray with you one-on-one before and after service. Who is praying after service? I believe Leland, are you? After Barb is, and I'm not sure who the other one is. I thought I saw Leland's name, but so when you see someone sitting up here or downstairs with a white shawl, you know that that's an invitation for you to take time to come and have a one-on-one prayer time. Every Sunday from 10:45 to 10:55, there's also a prayer chaplain up here. So let's come forth and bless our prayer requests with Patsy, one of our prayer chaplains.
Infinite Spirit of grace and love, we accept all of the joys, all of the peace, all of the love you shower us with. We accept it with joy, and we affirm that these prayers are prayers that you accept, knowing that every prayer is answered the moment it is thought. It may take some time in physical life, but every prayer is answered the moment it is first thought. And so we bless these prayers and requests, knowing that they are all for the good of everyone who has prayed, who has affirmed, who has set an intention. For when we set an intention, we open the door to unlimited possibility. And so we bless these prayers saying this or something better always. In gratitude, we say, thank you, God. Amen.
All right, I want you to sit back, put both your feet on the floor. We're going to do our meditation a little differently today. Close your eyes. You are seen, you are heard, you are loved for who you are. You are enough, you are complete. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. You are seen. You are heard. You are loved for who you are. You are enough. You are complete. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. Sing that with me. You are seen, you are heard. You are seen. You are heard. Your love for who you are. You are loved for who you are. You are enough. You are enough. You are complete. You are complete. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. Again. You are seen. You are heard. You are loved for who you are. You are enough. You are complete. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. Now here comes the hard part, because you're going to sing, I am seen, I am heard. Sing this to yourself. I am seen, I am heard, I am loved for who I am. There is nothing I need to change. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I am seen. I am seen. I am heard. I am loved for who I am. There is nothing I need to change. I need to change. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. One more time with that. I am seen, I am heard, I am loved for who I am, and there is nothing that I need change. I am loved. 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 So how did that feel? Is it sometimes hard to say that to yourself? I am loved. Hopefully you say that to yourself every day and know that and enjoy that you are loved truly, especially in this family here in this room, always. So thank you, Sibby, for the beautiful introduction. Librarians rock. So today we're going to continue in our series on our core values and the mission of this church, Unity Church here in Syracuse. So last week, Leland talked to us about we are inspiring. So thank you, Leland, for that. So today we're going to be moving on to we are accepting. And what is that? And what does that mean to you? So when I was first asked to talk about this, I was really excited because I had several things that immediately came to my mind that I could talk about accepting and acceptance. So I thought, oh, great, and then I started looking at it further and further and further, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could speak for hours on this, but I promise I'm going to try to keep it to about 15 or 20 minutes so that you guys can all go home and enjoy this beautiful day. So my immediate first thoughts was something I have talked up here about before a long, long, long time ago. But when I think about acceptance, there's several definitions, there's several ways to look at acceptance. So one of them is, how do we accept things from others? So let's talk about accepting things from others, especially gifts, for a moment. So being the library geek I am, as I was doing some research for this talk, you ever know where the word housewarming gift came from? A housewarming gift, the term came from, in days past, that you actually brought wood to somebody's house to heat their home. So think about it. You're out on the prairie, you've just cleared your land to build your house of trees, and then you've spent all that time sawing those logs and putting your house together and everything like that. So the last thing you want to do is go out and chop some more wood to stoke your fire. And you probably cleared out a lot of the wood that was around you anyway. So people brought wood to warm your house. So I just thought that was really cool and had to use that as something. So hopefully all of us have received a gift, a physical gift in our lives at some point. And how do you deal with that when somebody reaches out and says, here, this is for you? Some of us don't have an easy time with that, right, Mom? So one of the things is, and it could affect people here in this room, that in different traditions, in different ethnic households, there's rules about gift giving. And one of them, to some people, especially Asian people, is that you're not supposed to accept the gift when it is first offered to you. So you present the gift and it is refused. You present the gift and it is again refused. And it may even be refused a third time, but eventually you receive the gift and you take the gift. And the reason for that is to not to look greedy or impatient. So that's very interesting. And please be aware that in lots of different cultures and countries, gift giving there's some symbolism to it, and there is some ceremony to it. So if you are visiting someplace else and you bring a gift, because sometimes, some places, it's offensive. So the thing to do is say thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this gift. And it is accepting with gratitude. I appreciate this. And that's hard for some people. How many times do you be like, oh my gosh, no, you didn't have to. Yes. Take it. Take it and accept it with gratitude. So I've kind of got another example in my life about that, is that about 15 years ago, I was purchasing my first house. Really excited, proud, I'm purchasing my house. And I got home one Monday, it was a Monday. Got home from work, went to my mailbox, went up to my apartment, because I was living in an apartment. And there's this little card in there, and I'm like, oh, cool, a card. What is it? So open it up, and there is a check for a huge amount, to me at the time, from a family member. Wasn't my mom, but I think it was actually from the whole family now that I think about it. But I'll just say, it's from my uncle. And I was like, oh my God, this is just way too much. And it did say it was for my dining room table, because I was going to buy a dining room set, and he wanted to gift me that. So I immediately called up my mother, got on the phone, and started screaming and freaking out. Oh my God, he can't afford this. Why did he do this? I can't accept this. I'm going to come right down there, and he's got to take this back. I just absolutely can't do this. How many people have gotten busted for their unity principle rules that you've broken? Well, laugh now, it gets better. My mom, really calm, after listening to me for like 5 minutes, goes, Mark, what was yesterday's message at church? Busted. Okay? Accepting with grace was the topic of the sermon the day before. Or accepting with gratitude, I'm sorry. I was like, oh my Lord, it was so horrible. So, we don't always practice what we preach. So there's another time I learned about acceptance, and I had a good example of it this morning. Thank you, Miss Sibby. How many people have a hard time, you know, Betty, that's a lovely dress, a lovely sweater you have on today. You know, that's a lovely dress you have on. Oh, doesn't your hair look so nice today? We have, some of us have really big issues with accepting compliments. So I've been performing since I've been about 13 years old. I was the accompanist for the choirs all throughout school, from middle school to high school. So I was in middle school. So I believe it was the first year I was playing, accompanying for concerts. And my aunt came out. It was those friends of the family that you called uncle and aunt. So my Aunt Gail comes out and afterwards, and she's like, oh, Marc, she says, you played so well. I was so proud of you. It was really great. It was wonderful and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, my God, I made a mistake on page 3 on that first number. And then it was just like completely blew the chorus on that. And I started in the wrong key over there, and I had a miss to be. And she went, Marc, she said, I'm giving you a compliment. Accept it with gratitude. Because there was all these other people around that were coming up to me, you know, afterwards and saying how wonderful that was. She says it can be offensive to them if you're, you know, you're all like, yeah, accept it. Learn to accept it and be thankful that you've accepted that. So remember that in your daily life. So the next area, I'm going to pay tribute to Louise Hay. You don't know who she is, in a book called You Can Heal Your Life. I should have brought it with me. It's one of the books. I'm a librarian. I do not collect books because they're all in buildings someplace where I know I can access them. But Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life is one of the books that I own. So it's about accepting ourselves for who we are. I am loved. I am loved. I am truly loved. And Louise Hay's book taught me that I need to go to the mirror every day and look into the mirror and say, I love you, to yourself. And believe me, that was really, really hard when I first had to start doing that. And I did it. I did it for months until every morning I'd go up and I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, I love you. Have a good day. Bye-bye. And it's hard. Try it. How difficult is that? So we're all like, my nose is too big, my ears are too big, my hair is awful, whatever. We all hate something about ourselves or dislike something about ourselves. So is it RuPaul that says, how are you going to love somebody else if you can't love yourself? So you need to learn how to accept yourself, flaws and all. Acceptance is the ability to unconditionally value all parts of who you are. That means you acknowledge all of yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? All the things that need improvement. For most of us, self-acceptance can be hard. Sometimes it involves years of therapy. Okay? And we tend to be critical of ourselves. But there are a number of ways to learn to accept yourself and your life. And it all begins with your state of mind. And I can tell you, over the years, unity and the unity principles that we saw and these core values have helped to shape my life so much into accepting who I am and accepting the people around me, because I value them and try to live them every day. So be prepared to admit your mistakes. After all, we're all human. And remember that you can't fix anything until you know and admit that there's a problem. So try to view your mistakes not as failures, but as a learning opportunity. What can I do to improve this situation or to not have this situation occur again in my life? So you have the strength within to realize your control and your reality, and you're the only one that can change it. So decide what's important to you and set your mind to it. So one of my favorite mantras to myself sometimes is, you rock. And if you need to, get a stone, put it in your home, get a stone, put it on your desk, and when you're in that little zone of like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed today, I'm horrible, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm going to fail, I'm a failure, blah, 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 blah. Look at that rock and remember, you rock. Don't let fear get in your way. Fear can be debilitating. Okay? You know anybody who just walks around in fear and and nothing happens in their life because it's like, I can't step out of I need to stay right here. If I start walking around, oh my God, somebody's going to think something awful of me. So don't let fears stand in your way. You must be willing to do things in the unique ways that you think are best and to reflect on any feedback you receive. So that leads me kind of into our core value. We are accepting. We are accepting. Okay, these are our church core values. We are accepting. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Years ago, many years ago, I'm going to be a little personal here, my mother had to come to terms that her son was homosexual. And that was hard. Certain people are brought up in certain times where the thought of homosexuality or being different had certain connotations to it. And it's still a difficult concept for any parent today, years ago, to deal with. Because you know that that person is going to have some, perhaps, difficulties in their life because of what society says. So part of it was, one of the great things, if you're a religious person, and if you remember years ago, and it is still out there today, you know, homosexuality is perversion, it's abhorrent, and it is an abomination in the eyes of God. I'm going to hell. Okay? The person you know that's a homosexual in your life is going to hell. It was very common out there. So being a very faithful woman and wanting to celebrate her relationship with God and her spirituality, she sought out a place where she was not constantly reminded that her son's going to hell. Barb eventually found Unity. And she introduced me to Unity. And, you know, we were both very involved in our churches prior and previously. And she found a place where she could worship, that her son was welcomed, and I eventually found this wonderful place where I was welcomed by everyone, no matter what. And there are several other people in this group that, not just in the homosexual category, but other categories, 12 steps, transgender, aged, disabled, whatever, all are welcome here in Unity. Because you see, Unity declares it is imperative that our ministries and outreaches be free of discrimination on the basis of race, color, gender, age, creed, religion, national origin, ethnicity, physical disability, or sexual orientation. And I actually, because of a lot of workshops I've been going lately, would like to actually add gender expression to that. All are welcome here. So you all of a sudden saw a surge back in the 70s after Stonewall of a lot of churches, congregations becoming open and affirming churches and accepting. And we are very grateful and happy for that now. So do you remember, every week, do you remember, are you accepting? How accepting are you, really? It's reported that it takes about 1/10 of a second for us to judge someone and make a first impression. 1/10 of a second. That's like, wow, boom. You see the person, you make an impression. So we all have, and we have preconceived notions of how certain people should act and be and look. Think about your doctor. Think about a lawyer, politicians, the President of the United States, and librarians. See, Sibby and I are the hip librarians that are cool and modern, you know. So they don't hand out the little bun and the glasses, the bifocals, and the little lorgnettes anymore when you graduate from library school. But you do have preconceived preconceptions. Close your eyes for a moment with me and think and picture a Catholic priest, a rabbi, a Muslim imam. Can you pretty easily picture those people? You have a pretty stereotypical view of what those people should look like, right? So now what does a unity minister look like to you? Do they wear cleric robes? Do they wear a hat? A stole, like our prayer chaplains do? Do they wear a big cross? Crucifix, maybe? Or street clothes? And how do they act? How do they act when they preach? Are they quiet and reserved? Are they loud and raucous? Do they spew scripture and talk and shout about Jesus? You see, over the years, I've worked here with about 5 different ministers, and the music director, you know, along with the board, but the music director and the minister work very closely together to create and co-create these experiences that you see happen up here. So I know a lot of secrets. Everyone in this room has some kind of preconceived, some expectation of what our unity minister needs to be to them, to you. But how accepting is that? You already have, this is what I want my unity minister to be. This is what I expect them to be. This is how I need to be served. I need to be served. I am loved. I need to be served. But what about the congregation as a whole? How do we need to be served? We don't have the huge advantage like Catholics, Methodists, Presbyterians, and a lot of those other religions in this area. We got one unity church within 70, 80 miles. Is there still one at Rochester? Yep. Rochester, Albany, and Buffalo, I think. This is it, folks. So my slide on Zechariah. Zechariah 7:9 reads, "Render true judgment, show kindness and mercy to one another." Judgment is one of our is our 7th power of the 12 powers. That way. And judgment is there for a reason. Okay? And I kind of like to really refer to it as discernment. Okay? There's judgment there. There's judgment of like, okay, it's a safety mechanism. Okay, am I in danger here? And if you are, then you need to pay attention to that judgment. But judgment can also be used unfairly towards others or yourself. Are you seeing people with that love and light that I like to share? Are you showing judgment for who you want that person to be? Or are you accepting them for who they are? You know, people all have bad habits, bad things we aren't going to like about them. Think about your partner, spouse, somebody you've lived with over the years, a college roommate or something like that. It's like you may love the person and like the person, but they leave the damn cap off the toothpaste. Or what used to drive me crazy was the twist tie off the bread. Just be gone somewhere. I don't know where the hell it went. Just drive me crazy. But was it worth me giving up on this wonderful relationship that I may have had? Not that I haven't had bad relationships and moved on in my life. So one thing that came to mind too with change and judgment too is that I've seen very common here in this church, and I've been through, God, a million choirs too, with a bunch of different choir directors at different organizations in the community. Every time there's a shift in leadership, a choir director or a minister, there are those who are going to go like, this does not serve me. Doesn't serve me? How badly does it not serve you? If it's that detrimental, then it might be that you need to realize to yourself that, gee, this does not serve me. Maybe I need to move on. There's always an influx of people in and out of a church when a new minister comes. It's just reality. I don't want to see anybody leave. It's like your doctor. If you hate your doctor, there's something about your doctor you don't like, you should probably go find a new doctor. Or a psychiatrist, especially psychiatrists. If you're not relating to your psychiatrist well, so I'd like us to be aware of those feelings as we move forward in our search, in our healing process. That can we leave our judgment someplace else, or come to reality with our judgment. Because remember, what happens is your expectations are not met. But we need to think of ourselves as a body of a whole, as a whole. So tell me, how prepared are you to be accepting? Yes? You rock? I already talked about it. We don't like something about our partners or something like that. My partner was like, oh my God, just tell him it's not me. It's not me. So, oh, wow. So as you go through your days, try and observe how accepting you are of others and those around you. So not just here, but in your daily life, because we do it. So those unity principles that I get, oh, I'm busted. I looked at this person and was introduced to this person, I automatically went like, oh, what big ears they have, or, we do. It's human nature. It's okay, but it's what you do after that. And I'm not saying you need to expose yourself to negative situations. That's what our judgment and discernment is for, to know what's right or wrong. This is good, this is not good for me. It's all a perspective and how we see things. And can we agree to disagree? So I'd like to leave you with a poem. Don't try to exert control over someone else by attempting to get others to think like you. You can try from here until tomorrow, but they'll never follow through. Accepting the differences in people is what makes the world go round. Some of these differences have been proven to be solid and sound. There's various things to be learned from one another, which of course is a positive fact. Just don't become overbearing and don't overreact. We have to accept the differences in people, as it helps a lot, I've found. For once you get yourself acclimated, you'll find it easier to get around. Audrey Heiler. Namaste, thank you.
And we accept your gift of your speaking talent and now your musical talent. And so it's getting as yourself ready. So now we come to that part of our service that we receive our gifts, our tithes, and our love offerings. So as you prepare your gift and you can hold it in your hand, we have a blessing that we say together as the ushers are gathering. And so together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source.
Be the love you are, just as Master Jesus taught us. Be the love you are, everyone. Be the love you are. Be the love you are, just as Master Jesus taught us. Be the love you are. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. God is good to me.
So now we receive these gifts, these tithes and love offerings. So if you will, you can extend your hands from your heart and know that we accept these gifts with love and gratitude and graciousness, knowing that these gifts are dedicated to the will and to the work of Spirit for the upliftment of all who come here and all whom we serve in the name of love. And so it is, and we say, Amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Gorgeous fall weekend. Wow. So amazing. So we were talking about this power of the month this month. Do you guys remember what it is? Come on, don't look at me like me. I'm not a fool around here. I know we did this. What is it? Zeal. Zeal. Awesome. Perfect. We talked about zeal and how having too much zeal can be a problem, but not having enough zeal is also a problem. And we used our zeal to go downstairs and carve some pumpkins and paint some pumpkins. So I invite you on your way down to look, and you can take some selfies with the pumpkins or take some pictures and show everybody about them. But I also wanted you guys to, we're going to be traveling down to Camp Takwa for our YLU rally on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we'll be returning on Sunday. And Thomas and Todrick will be with me and Ken and I. I'd just like you guys to hold us in prayer as we travel. I'm so looking forward to this experience. I think I get more excited almost than the kids, but I get a lot out of it, and it's also like a checkpoint for me to be like, oh man, I made some progress this year. Who would have known? But does anybody else have anything to say, or?
I think the only other thing I want to add is the trip down to Maryland is a long one, And in the past, we've used our vehicles, and that just was taking a toll. So we have started now renting vehicles. It's probably YFM's largest expense throughout the year. So if anyone feels so so inclined and wants to contribute to that rental fee, that'll go into the YFM budget, and it'd be much appreciated. Thank you.
And you could do that at the bookstore if you wish today, to earmark it to that, so thank you. And I have been to a rally, and it is like nothing else I have ever experienced. Talk about accepting. You walk into an environment where there is sacred acceptance of every single person there, and you come out truly and richly blessed. So we really honor what you're doing, taking our teens down and bringing back to us. Thank you.
And I want to let folks know that the bake sale that we had was an absolute success. Thank you so much for buying all those products. We probably cleared somewhere around $300, I think, after expenses. It was fantastic. Thank you so much. We plan on having a very limited run of pumpkin butter from what we did down today. We'll probably have that for maybe next week. So keep your eyes open. It's going to be a very limited run.
Hey, all right, Ken. How do you like them apples, right? Okay, so now we will bless our children. We bless our children wherever they are. We see them surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanding youth and family ministry. And now we can join hands and sing our peace song.